Association of Central Connecticut. Bill Leach with the HBRA as well. And this segment, we are joined by Todd Director. The Director family, as everybody knows, very involved with the association for years, and the community at large too. And Todd Director is with us today. So welcome, Todd.
How are you guys?
Doing well in these changing circumstances.
Yeah, this is it's crazy. We heard about some vendor supply chain issues back in January, but never thought we'd be sitting here in the circumstances that we're in today.
Yeah, no, this is unprecedented for sure. And what's crazy is it happened. I mean, the brakes got stomped on fast with the economy and everything else going on. It wasn't like this was a slow crawl somewhere. It was a stomp on the brakes and everything just came to a stop. It was what do you guys see with your suppliers and things? Are they still in?
Well, again, I mean, just to from what you just said, I mean, we were looking at the best spring we've seen in 10 years in residential home building and projects and everything else. And we're still seeing a lot of that go on, luckily. So thank you guys for all the work that you guys have done to really, push the state to allow, safe projects to continue. Because, again, without that, I don't know, really how we would get out of that whole mess, just from the standpoint of there's so many projects that are, backed up to begin with. I can only imagine what would happen if you took that multiplier effect. But from a supply chain standpoint, our industry is very wide. As a company, we buy from over 200 manufacturers. So because there's so much, I don't want to say duplication, but because there's so many different opportunities for us to buy from, we're certainly not shut down by a certain few vendors who can't supply product. So again, for us, we're shipping, we're receiving, our warehouse is in full operation. Our commercial and some of our residential people who do both are still in full operation. Really, the only difference is here is you just can't, walk in the door and get service. So again, that's kind of where we're at. But again, the amount of pickups, the amount of phone calls, it's overwhelming.
Todd, what are you seeing in the changes of how you conduct your business on a day-to-day basis that it's not as normal as it has been in the past?
Well, it's certainly interesting. We're all the few of us that are here on a day in and day out basis. It's interesting. We're dealing with full circle from product coming in the back door to seeing it go all the way to the customer, and we're all looking at every we're taking a look at the whole business and looking at how we do everything, processes that we have, and looking at reassessing them and obviously changing them for the better of the future. But again, we'll get through it.
Yeah, well, it's interesting you say that, because I think a lot of us we're doing the same thing. We're looking at what we do, how we operate, and I think there's some efficiencies that are come out of this for all of us at the end of the day when we get to this thing.
Yeah, I mean, again, as bad as something like this is, and again, our hearts go out to the many people that are laid off. We had to certainly get lay some people off as far as our retail sales operation, because they only service people who can walk in and buy things. We're still taking care of everyone's health care, which was really important to us, especially during a health crisis. But from the standpoint of what you just said, yeah, I mean, we are looking at that. So when we do get back into gear and full gear, we're able to do it that much better, and hopefully be able to bring on more people than we currently have now to expand. So again, I think sometimes it takes something like this to kind of make you analyze everything and take a step back and say, wow, we could really spend some time fixing this process.
Yeah.
Have the builders and remodelers changed with how they communicate with you and do selections?
Believe it or not, I can't tell you how many of them are reaching out to us and saying, we want to place an order, and can we, let us know if you want money up front. I mean, it's, from that aspect, it's pretty amazing. We have had a couple that have asked if they wanted to schedule an appointment for a customer to come in, and we'll certainly, allow that. And we're taking that on a case by case basis. Again, but we had a lady who did basically a whole house on FaceTime the other day. She needed product right away. She wasn't comfortable coming in, which we were fine with. And she didn't want to go through the online process because she didn't know what was available and what wasn't, and she needed product immediately. So again, that was certainly interesting, but again, it worked. So
There's a lot more. There's a lot of things that are being, finding creative ways to do things like using some of the remote technology and even these kind of things for conversations and meetings and things. You guys seeing a lot more online ordering going on?
So I would tell you so the hard thing with online is it's always a hard thing. I've shifted some spend. You can't turn off the faucet on your digital no matter what. And obviously on pay-per-click stuff, you're only paying for it if people are clicking on it. So, but the one thing I will say is with the online, we typically as a company don't push online. We push people to come in here. So it's going to take a little while to see if we've changed the messaging to push that. But it's usually a different message because the online message is different than what we normally push. So I would tell you the past couple of days I have seen an uptick, but I think that's a direct correlation to some of the Google AdWords changes that we made that's pushing people to buy online versus come to our stores. So that's going to have a bit of a change. I can tell you, dealing with our media partner, they're out of Denver, Colorado, that we do our digital advertising with. The Amazons in the world and all that have basically pulled all of their Google AdWords on a bunch of products that run in the home building industry because they're just not focused on it right now. So it's also an opportunity for local businesses to really, I wouldn't say spend a bunch of money, but to look at some keywords that they typically wouldn't be able to afford and buy them on a local level and really get their name out there.
Right. No, that's true. I think that's the other thing that's going to come out of this is there's going to be some neat opportunities, I think, for businesses that, to create little niches in different markets that they may not have been in before as well.
Yeah. And again, I guess the hope, the only hope coming out of this is that people will take a step back and really think about, who they support in the future and, really try to, support these restaurants, support the contractors, support the buy local effort everywhere. So.
Well, I think that's that's part of why we're doing these things and having these conversations too, is because I think the association and associations in general are important right now, and making sure that those connections stay there, make sure that we keep pushing members to support each other, buy from other members, and we want people doing as much work and with each other as possible. So it's
no, absolutely, and I think too, one of the most important things is I can't tell you how many people call here on the phone and they have no idea that we're able to assist them. They have no idea they can buy online from us. They have no idea that we have distribution. They think of they heard the governor's message as stay home, which is very important right now, that everyone just stays put and this thing doesn't spread so we can all get back to our normal lives. However, I think there's people aren't, I don't think, have any idea what that exemption list looks like and in what capacity. So I think the assumption for many is just that everything is shut down, and if I need to buy anything, I better just go online and click. Whereas a lot of businesses, they may not be necessarily in their business, but the business hasn't stopped operating. And again, almost everyone's, come up with clever and different ways to serve people. So.
Yeah, there's so much that's still open, and as you said, even it's open remotely or virtually, it's still people are doing business and still out there. So it's and it's important to make sure you're supporting those local restaurants and businesses like yours and everything else, just to because we will come through this, and hopefully I think this week is certainly the first one that we've all been shut down on, and I think people are trying to get their heads around, as you said, what that means and what it looks like. Kind of a new normal comes out of this quickly, and people get back to doing things and shopping and make improvements again too. So
what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, but one of the opportunities out of this is folks are in their homes and they are taking a look at all the things they have, and they're wanting to change some of that because they are spending a lot more time in their homes. So an opportunity.
Absolutely. No, we've gotten a lot of those phone calls. We've gotten phone calls asking if we know contractors or electricians who are working. So it's funny, there's two sides of the story. You got people who don't want anybody coming into their home, and then you have people who are stuck at home, and if they feel safe to do so, they want to get people in to get work done. So it's certainly interesting.
Well, if we're all gonna be stuck in our homes now, it's no better time to upgrade to a new one or renovate your home and make lighting purchases, so that it's if you're gonna be stuck in your home, you might as well have a nice home to be stuck in.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, I mean,
go ahead. Let's go ahead.
No, I just was gonna say, yeah. I mean, we're just trying to weather the storm here and service everything we currently have, as well as everyone who needs to keep on going. And I would still tell you, 90% of what we're doing on a daily basis is orders that were already placed for a retail customer that they're picking up or we're facilitating, but 90% of it is still construction, builders and stuff like that. So that's reassuring and good to see, because I really, wasn't sure at first if that whole residual effect, even though they were able to be open, I wasn't sure if they were going to stay open. But we haven't heard anything negative as far as people slowing down on that front. So
that's good. That's good. Well, hopefully the supply chains keep going and we can keep things moving forward. And I've got my Connecticut lighting light back there.
Yeah, thank you.
So and I picked that up at the auction a couple of years ago. So hopefully we'll be back at the auction this year. And
no, absolutely, yeah. Hopefully everyone does what they're supposed to do, and we're back to normal sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Again, well, Todd, thank you very much for joining us for this segment.
Thanks for the time, guys.
Hopefully, again, everybody support your local businesses. Go to Connecticut Lighting, visit them online, make an appointment, go see what they've got in the stores to help you out. And again, we'll get through this, and just got to keep supporting each other and
absolutely
make it happen.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, thanks again, guys. I appreciate
it. Be well. Give our best to your family too.
All right, definitely. Talk to you guys.